Welcome back. I'm Tommy the Angry Craftsman. Today we installed a dual air assist on the Thunderbolt. We also hooked it up to external air, taking the air pump completely out of the equation. We've run some tests on it already, had some great results. So stick around and we'll walk you through the process. It may be a little choppy. I may not cover everything specifically in detail, but hopefully if I don't, you have any questions. I know that Chris, who I got all the pieces and parts from, can help answer the question, or I will do my best to answer the questions as well. So stick around and let's see how to do this. So let's talk about what comes in the box when you order your setup for your dual air assist for the Bolt. So you're going to get the gauge with the high and low air already pre-wired, already pre-put together. You're going to get a Y connector. You're going to get the 24 volt solenoid. You're going to get the new faceplate. You're going to get some zip ties and little tie downs, and then some connectors as well. For ours, because we changed things in the middle of everything, I had to order a 110 volt solenoid. I think Chris is probably going to add this to the kit for an option. For the option that we're using, we're going to need the 110 volt as well as the 24 volt. And then I also have some extras of connectors and stuff like that, just in case, because you never know what I'm going to do. I also think Chris provides some of the air tubing. I told him not to send me any. That way, because I had my own, there was no sense in him sending it to me. You're going to need a way to cut the air tubing, and then for some of the wiring, a small little set of precision screwdriver bits. I think these came from the dollar store, so they're cheap as crap, but in the grand scheme of things, they work fairly well. So for the 24 volt cylinder or solenoid, you're going to need to pull this off right here, because you're going to need to get to these two wind and 24 volt. I'm going to do that off camera. You just kind of wiggle it out, and then we'll show you how to wire it all together. So we pulled the little thing out. Underneath here and here are two screws. They're going to be tight as crap. So take your flat screw or your straight tip screwdriver and break them loose. And I've already done that. I'm going to rotate it back around here. I'm going to put black. Well, let's try that again. I want to loosen them so that the terminal opens up in there. And then I'm going to stick that in. And then I'm going to tighten it back down. So black will go all the way to the right. And then red will go to the next one. Like so. Then I snug them down. And that's taken care of. Now, I've plugged my connector back in. My solenoid sits right there, and I have it turned so I can see in and out. So in is on the wire side, and out is on the non-wired side. So I know that when I start hooking my air up, which way it goes. So when we're disconnecting the air pump, be very careful and do not do what the hell we did. So this one right here controls the fan. This one controls the air pump. From what I'm seeing right now, white, black, and green, those are the colors that you're looking for specifically for the air pump. Green and yellow, blue, and brown are going to go to the fan. For the love of God, don't do what we did. Pay attention. This was tucked underneath of this rail on the inside. Okay, so I'm on the left side of the machine now. You can see the air pump, so we'll get to that here shortly when I disconnect that air line to start running everything. But let's go back and focus on the wiring aspect. So when we're disconnecting the air pump, be very careful and do not do what the hell we did. So this one right here controls the fan. This one controls the air pump. From what I'm seeing right now, white, black, and green, those are the colors that you're looking for specifically for the air pump. Green and yellow, blue, and brown are going to go to the fan. For the love of God, don't do what we did. Pay attention. This was tucked underneath of this rail on the inside. Okay, so when we took these out, inside of this, and I know the camera's a little blurry, there's little metal pins. You kind of go up high and pull down, and then the wires will pull out. And pretty much we're going to put it back in the same way. Okay, so they're the little silver pins that you can see. You push them straight down so that you can slide the wire in and out. I just wanted to correct myself. So the easiest thing I found was putting it flat on the workbench and then putting my weight as I push straight down to slide the connectors in. Okay, so now we're going to the Y jumper. So what we're going to find right here is when you start looking on the TL timer, this one right here I'm pointing to says out 5 and the empty one is out 4. This is going to go to out 4 and out 5, and then this is going to plug in to what I removed from there. So you can see, and the great part about Chris's setup is he actually had out 4 and out 5 stickered on the side, so you know which plug goes to what terminal. Okay, so now we're going to pull the screen apart. We loosen these screws here and here, and then the plug is down there so that we can pull the screen out. Okay, so we've got the hole, we've pulled the screen out. Now we're going to take this, drop the wire down. This kind of fits, sorry about that, kind of fits at an angle so that you can see, and it sits right there. Now what we did was drop the wire straight down here. We'll come back and zip tie everything in a minute. Brought it straight down, and this is the wiring for the gauge. So brown will go to the red. See if I can get it to, I guess my camera is shot. So there's these little orangish red buttons here. You push them in and then slide the wire in and then let go, and it locks them in place. So Chris has these labeled. Brown says red, so that goes there. And blue says black, so that one goes in the empty hole. So now we start running the air lines. You can see the pump. Here in a minute, I'm going to have to pull the black hose off that connector for the pump. But this clear line right here is my air coming in. So I tried to pull the plate off from behind the air pump on the back side of the machine and just drill a small hole in it. But I don't know what happened. Somewhere along the line, the heads are stripped out. So I said, screw it. And I just fished it through the little vent holes. We'll see how that works for now. And then I bring it out here so you can see the air line comes into the 120 volt cylinder that's on the left hand side. Okay, so I want to show, I put it all together. Now I'm going to take it all apart. So this piece here, your screen just drops in. Now I've got everything, and I'll show you from underneath. This just sits on top, and then the screen will drop in. And then if we look here, if we can, so underneath, that's the air hose. You'll have a USB that goes into the right side, and then there is the other cable that goes into the screen. The monstrosity of hoses and wires, we got to make sure they're out of the way of the drag chain. We already had an issue while we were testing it. I'll start from front, or from where the air comes in, over to the right side to walk you through how to do the air. So I have not mounted this yet. I'm still working on where exactly to mount it, but again, it's all hooked up and working. I have my air coming in from my air lines into this dryer and regulator. Right now, I think we've been playing around. It's about 25, 30 PSI, give or take. We'll do some more testing and play around. So you'll need one of these as well. However you want to set it up is completely up to you. Okay, it's a little difficult to see, but I didn't feel like drilling any holes, so the air that comes in from the external air source goes through the grates that help cool the pump, and you can see the little pump. Then it comes into this 110 volt, 120 volt solenoid there. So I've got air coming in as a clear tube. That way I can track it. And again, it comes underneath the rails and it comes all the way over here. So let's follow the clear tube. The clear tube comes into a Y. So from this Y, you have one side going to the 24 volt solenoid and this side going into the low air side. Come around here and show you this. So now on the right side, we've got the clear tubing. So the clear tubing, I've dropped it down through this grommet. And I've come over here to the solenoid. I've got air going in and air going out. And then from here, let's see if I can move and get a better angle. So I'm not sure how well everything's going to be seen, but the air comes back in and goes into the high side, comes out, splits off here and here in the black. One goes and splits off again, one goes to the gauge, and then this black comes all the way back through underneath, and then connects right there where we disconnected for the air pump. So all the rest of the hose is what comes standard in it. I didn't disconnect anything. That's just where it disconnects and hooks into the existing air system. Here we go. One more round. So we've already tried it just to make sure it works. Here is the setup. All we're going to do is engrave the apple, and then there's a score around it so that we can fiddle around with our air assist. So I'm going to hit origin, and then I am going to hit go. And right now, see, so I can dial that down if I want to. I'm at 3.2, 2.3, and then if I crank that up, should start seeing a difference in the actual engrave. You can see the other apple over there. And when it starts to score, know that we have high air, so I'm going to dial this down to about 1.7. High air's all the way up. And that's that. Okay, we're going to go over the how the airlines are done using this kind of slide. I quickly put this together. So here's the regulator that comes in from your external air, and then obviously it comes down, and this is where I was talking about. I put it through the little grates for the air pump. Comes into the 120 volt solenoid there. From there it goes out, and then somewhere, wherever you want to put it, there's a Y. From that Y, you've got one airline going to the 24 volt. That's on the right side, and that one goes into your high air. The 120 volt from there at that Y goes straight into your low air. Coming out of the opposite side of the
gauge and pen valve assembly. It comes out of high and low air, goes into a Y, goes into a single piece, back into a Y, into your gauge, and then trace it all the way around back to where you disconnected the black tubing from the air pump, and that's where you would hook it in. Then you shouldn't have to cut anything that was existing, and if you wanted to hook everything back up at a later date, it would be easy. So again, this is how the air is. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've learned something. If you got any comments, feel free and leave them. I'll do my best to answer them. Hopefully I'll have all the links in the description to where to buy everything, cost and whatnot, and all the pieces and parts and stuff that we had to use. So other than that, I hope y'all have a great day.